Hey, and welcome back or welcome to my channel, Indieauthor Jill, where I read and review indie-authored books, and today we are looking at Elite Memories by David J. Gibson. I was a little confused about the title, and as I was reading the blurb didn't really explain the elite part, but as you get in, it doesn't matter that it doesn't, because it's fine. Because as soon as you get into the story, you realize why it's called Elite Memories. And as the blurb says, memories, the way this whole storyline works is we're in 2150. It's a dystopian science fiction novel. And the people have been divided into two sets of people, the elites and the underlings. And the elites live in nice places where there's filtered air and there's filtered water, and they don't have to worry about surviving in a polluted earth with polluted air and polluted water and polluted soil and whatever. And then you have the underlings who do. And Damon is the son of the leader of the Boston Center. So very high up, rich kid. And they've gotten to a point where as you age, or if your body gets sick, or if it starts getting too old to actually work, then what they do is they transfer your memories into a healthier body, and then you take over that body. But some of these memory transfers are starting to go awry, and what they're doing is the memory transfers are going into semi-sentient animals such as cattle, sheep, pigs, dogs, bobcats, wolves, birds, whatever. And so that's what happens with Damon. He's gotten very sick, and he goes through a memory transfer and wakes up in the body of a sheepdog. And turns out that he is a very good sheepdog. Like, he adapts to it quite well, and finds that he very much enjoys, the sheepdog in question is owned by a farmer, and he finds that he very much enjoys laying by the fireplace and soaking up the warmth and getting scraps from his masters and running around chasing rabbits. Like, he's very well adept to it. But he also ends up finding other animals with human transferred memories and hangs out with them, and he finds that he actually makes real friends and not these superficial, shallow friends that are only friends with him because he is the center leader's son. Probably chapter 3, was it? I marked up this book a lot. Like, I had so many thoughts. But yeah, I think it was in chapter 3. I should have marked it. No, actually, it was in 1, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it was in chapter 1. Yeah, so never mind. So yeah, chapter 1, right off the bat. So, as people who have been watching my channel for a while know, I have a rule. I do not attack the author or their work, but I will go after their characters, and occasionally, if you have an audiobook, I might go after your narrator. especially if he does a really great Irishman with stories about his mom. But in this case, I might have to break my rule a little bit because, again, it's 2150. That's the year, 2150. Okay? It's over 100 years in the future. Damon was familiar with this routine. He's going in for his memory transfer. His medical condition had necessitated numerous hospital visits over the last few years. He didn't like the gowns. At 6'3", they were too short and left his butt cold and exposed. Why, in the year 2150, David, have hospital gowns not advanced? And honestly, that is probably the most believable thing in this story. Because everything else is just... it's just fun. I was able to get through this in no time, because you just want to keep turning the pages. You just want to keep reading. And the only thing better about the story being so good that you want to get through it, like you just keep turning the pages, is that you get to the end and find out that there are 2 more books in the works. One is a prequel novella, and one is a continuation of the story that is unfolding. Now, it does not end in a cliffhanger. It does end in a way that says, this could be the end, but there's room for a sequel. So I was kind of excited about that. It's like, oh, good. If David wanted to, he could continue the story. And then you get to the end of it and you realize, oh, he has chosen to continue it. That's great. I love that. So yeah, it is a standalone. You could totally read this, and if you finish it, you will be satisfied. You will want to read the next one when it comes out. Because, I mean, I do. But, and I'm not even really much of a science fiction person or a dystopian person, but, like, I liked this book. But yeah, the fact that the injections, the nurses keep saying, oh, you'll feel some pressure, it'll hardly hurt at all. And he's like, yeah, right, I've been through this enough times, I know, you're lying, it always hurts. And then they give him a blue gown, and it's like too short, and it's open in the back, and I'm just like, my first thought was, why in 2150 is this not fixed? Why is this still a thing? And, like I said, I could honestly see a world where in 2150 we still do not have any advancement in medical hospital gown technology. You know, holograms? Sure. Virtual reality, hollow spaces where you can go and have a latte in a French cafe with a girl halfway across the world? Sure. A hospital gown that actually covers anything? Nope, not gonna happen. It's just, and painless injections? Nah. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I could absolutely see that being a reality, which is why I say it's the most realistic thing in the entire book. I like the part where when Damon accepts his role as he's a sheepdog and he's met up with a bunch of other animals and joins them to try and figure out how to kind of set up the society and keep themselves safe from the elites, because the elites have started realizing, hey, something's going on with the animals and maybe we should, like, get rid of them so that they don't, like, make it known that something's up. And my biggest thing with this was, like, the animals, a lot of the animals were like, hey, let's go and try and get our lives back, and I get that. But like I said, with Damon, he finds that he makes a very good sheepdog. Like, he enjoys sitting around campfires and sitting in the front room of his master's house in front of the hearth fire and chasing rabbits, and he meets the neighbor's sheepdog, and she's kind of pretty, and, you know, it's like, you've got it better than most. Some of them are being some of these memories are being put into cattle and they're becoming steaks. So you got it good, boy. You know, but he does join the other animals, and there's a point when he's decides to join them and help them out that the statement is made, he needn't be a spoiled rich brat anymore. He had a purpose. And I'm thinking, you didn't have to be a spoiled rich brat in the first place. You could have just been a spoiled rich kid. That didn't mean you had to be a brat about it. But, I mean, if you're raised in an atmosphere where your dad pretty much tells you you're special and you don't have to do anything because you're awesome and, you know, you're good as you are. But even Damon, as he's going through his human life, is like, he's not happy with where he is, and he doesn't feel complete. Like, he feels like, I could be doing more. And he's not exactly sure what that more is. All he's ever known is partying and carousing with women. And so he's never really been given that guidance of what more is. And then when he becomes an animal, he figures out what that more is. And he's like, oh, this is what I've been missing. You know, feeling like I have a purpose. Feeling like I have actual friends that actually like me. Being around people that really like me, just hanging out, not because I can do anything for him and not because my position can, because as a sheepdog, like, he's new to the fold and he's one of the youngest that have been put into an animal, so he's got nothing to offer them, really. And they're just like, okay, you're one of us now. And he's like, okay, I'm one of you now. You know, like, he is so willing to go along with it and so willing to just be a part of this, you know. And at first he's kind of clinging to his human emotions and trying to get back to the center and everything, but after about a week or two, he's just like, I'm good. I'd rather be a dog. It suits me, you know. And it's there's this back and forth because the memories are not going into an empty body. It's not like a puppy was born and as soon as the puppy, you know, like he's going into the mind of a newborn puppy just before it's got its own, like, mind or whatever. He's going into an already full-grown sheepdog who has already established himself. He's been raised from a puppy to a dog. He's learned to herd cattle. He likes hanging out with his master, and his only interests are chasing rabbits, hanging out with his master, and eating food and resting by the fire. That's really his only interest. Except for chasing down the random, the now and again female dog running around that he's like, oh, hey, she's pretty, you know. And Damon even recognizes, he's like, okay, this dog is very much got the same kind of mindset I had when I was a spoiled kid. He's like, okay, come on, dog, we got a higher purpose now, you know. So these memories are going into these semi-sentient animals that already have memories and understandings for themselves. And it's really confusing for the people that are being put into birds. Like, one guy gets put into an eagle and he's learning to fly, and there's this kind of juxtaposition where he's sitting there like, he's trying to figure out, okay, I'm gonna fly, and the eagle mind is like, you have no idea what you're doing, let me fly. You know, and so they kind of come to an agreement of, okay, I will let you fly because you know how to do that, but I'm going to tell you where to go. And they're like, they come to that agreement. So these animals and human minds have to work together, and it becomes kind of interesting as you see the animals at first being kind of clumsy because the humans are trying to take over, and eventually they, like, go back and forth. And even Damon, when he gets lost from the master's house and he's trying to get back, he has no idea how to get back because he's taken so many different weird turns. And he finally decides, okay, I'm going to let the host dog take over. And Shep, the host dog, kind of is like, okay, we're following this scent, we'll get back home. and as they're coming up against different adversaries and different, like, groups of wild dogs or whatever, Shep knows exactly how to handle them and how to communicate with them and saying, hey, I'm going to leave. I want no trouble. You stay. You do whatever you want to do. And I'm going to go. And the other dogs are like, yeah, go. You go away and you don't return. And Shep's like, no problem. But I like it. That's where a lot of the fun was the animals communicating, the animals and the humans trying to figure out how to coexist in the same brain, and then the way that they were communicating with each other, and the way that Damon was able to let down all of his elite guard and be like, oh, I don't have to be the rich man's son anymore. I can just be Damon, and I can figure out who Damon actually is. And the others are figuring out, oh, I was this. I was a lawyer. I was a scientist. I was an engineer. I was an electrician, whatever. And then as they're going back and forth, they're realizing, I don't have to be these things anymore. I can just be me. And I don't have to fill necessarily a role that is used. I don't have to be, okay, you have to be useful or we're going to eliminate you. It's, you have to be useful or we're going to find another role for you. Like, nobody gets kicked out of this group unless they are causing dissension in the group. And so they're like, oh, you're not a good fighter. Maybe you hunt rabbits. You hunt for the group. Oh, you're not good at that either? Maybe you're just surveillance. You've got a keen eyesight. Go make sure nothing, when we're doing something, keep a lookout for danger. Like, they figure out how to play to each other's strengths and make everybody be included and involved without saying, okay, you can't do what we want you to do, so we don't need you anymore. It's you can't do what we need you to do here. Maybe you can do something we need you to do here. And, like, they work around that, and then they get to be friends, and they can actually break down these, I'm a high elite, and I'm a moderate elite, and I'm a low elite, I used to be, whatever. And so I like how this is kind of a great equalizer for a lot of them. Even one of the high-ups, they become a coyote, and they're trying to challenge the authority. They're like, well, I'm the den leader now because I have the most seniority, and I'm the most elite of you all. And they're like, yeah, that's not how that works here. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. And like the new ones that are coming in, if they were very low ranking and they're coming in and they're realizing, oh, we're not going to be low ranking anymore. We're just going to be equal. And the higher ups are coming in and they're like, I'm going to be a superior. And they're like, nope. And they're like, oh, okay. Like one of the top guys, he was like, in human form, he was like he had a lot of power and he had a lot of authority, and he's like, oh, I command this area, and he gets transferred into like a small bird, and one of the people, he tries to control one of his underlings, but that underling has become a large canine-like predator, and he's like trying to boss them around, and they're like, I can eat you, right? Like, one gulp, you're gone. And he's like, okay, let's reconsider. But yeah, I love how they're going into animal form is the equalizer, and they get to show off their personality, and I think that it shows, I think you can see that David had a lot of fun with playing with the personalities and how those change from, this is who I was as a human, now I'm this animal, and it's like, oh, my status has changed a little bit, because I was a big wolf in the facility, and now I'm a big wolf out here, but that doesn't actually mean anything, so, they're finding out that, okay, I can't be a leader as much as I have to be a team player. Like, it's not about, I call the shots, you do what I say. It's hey, we as a group have to come to a consensus of what we think is the right move for this situation or that situation, any big moves that they make have to be like, okay, we have to understand the repercussions of this big move. If we do this, what is the outcome? What is the fallout? What is the, you know, who's going to get hurt? Who's getting caught in the crossfire? And is that a risk we're going to be willing to take? What are we going to lose? Like, this thing can succeed and we'll gain this, but we're going to lose this. Are we willing to lose this to gain this, or can we gain this in a different way and lose something that we're actually more willing to lose? And so they're forming this new society and realizing that the status just doesn't matter in this new existence. And yeah, it was such a fun book, and I can't really go into any more than that. I do wish we could have found out what had happened to some of the friends that Damon had. We only get to meet, after he becomes a dog, we only meet one of his friends after he becomes a dog, and we see kind of a little bit of what he's doing, but we don't really know what's happened to him. We don't know what happened to any of his other friends. But like I said, there is a sequel that picks up where this left off. And so we might find out from there. David, by all means, comment below if we actually... You don't have to give anything away. We're not asking for spoilers. But just, do we find out about Shannon and Peter and the other friend whose name I totally know and didn't forget at all? Jack. Yeah. So, do we find out what happened to them? I'm fine with him not getting with Shannon because Eve's obviously the better choice. So. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Later today I will post a video. We'll do a drawing of the TBR to find out what we're reading next. And it is the 30th of January, so it's the end of the month, and I will, on the 30th or 31st, how many days? I know how many days January has. In it has 31? Right? That's right. That sounds right. Ask me how many days February has in it. I can answer that one. Yes, January has 31 days. Great, wonderful, love that. Okay, so, yes, today is the 31st. No, today is the 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st. So today, later today, I will have the draw of what we're going to read next, and that will be our first book in February. But then tomorrow, on January 31st, I will do a recap of the books that I've read. I'm missing one. Because somebody borrowed it, but I will kind of go over it, recap that one as well, and I will let you know which one this month is my favorite. And at the end of each month I'll do a video like that where I recap all the books that I've read that month, which one was my favorite of that month, and at the end of that I will also say which one is my favorite. At the end of the year I will recap and tell you which one is my favorite of the year out of those 12 books that I've read, that I've chosen from each month. So, we've got this one. We have A Bus Can't Drive Empty, Dragonstones. We have The Elephant and the Teapot Are Friends, Anvil's Whisper, The Tales of Arcane of Fortune, How to Live an Extraordinary Life with or Without Your Mr. Right, Paragon Exordium, When Stars Explode, and Elite Memories, and Catalyst. Not necessarily in that order, obviously, but like I said, we'll go over all of those tomorrow, and I'll let you know which one was my favorite. Until then, I will see you guys later. The link for this will be in the description below, as well as a link to my own book, as well as the address to where you can send books that you would like me to read and review for this channel. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye!